Undiscovered Gems because I neglected this series for far too long, and now I'm overcorrecting that by doing even more videos in this series. And I can tell that you guys like these videos as well. You're always getting hype in the comments about these kinds of albums that I recommend. While the viewership could be higher, I'd like to see these videos do a bit better in terms of views. So definitely make sure you share them around if you do like them. Would absolutely love that. But also, due to the fact that people are so engaged with them when they do come out, I guess I gotta keep going with them, you know? I gotta keep bringing them to you guys. And as always, please check out my Patreon if you are a big fan of this channel. If you want more different types of videos recommended, you get first picks. If you are part of my Patreon support, you get to be in the Discord server too. There's so many perks on my Patreon that you could be getting part of. That would be wonderful. Love to see you all there, so please check it out. The link is in the description. But yes, Klaus Kinski, a Spanish group with quite a weird name, Klaus Kinski, but I do rate it. I rate the name, and I rate this album because it's bloody good. These guys dropped quite a few albums in the space of like 5-ish, 6-ish, 7-ish years or something like that, and then just seem to dip. I don't know much about them, to be honest. I don't know where they've gone, if they've moved on to do something different. You never really know with musicians. Perhaps they just called it a day, but all I know is that this debut album from 2008 is fantastic. You immediately get what they're going for on the opening track, El Cristo del Perdón, which is a very dreamy track. The melody is lovely, it's so sweet, the vocals are quite understated, and she remains to be very understated across this whole album actually, with a sort of like Bella and Sebastian sort of vibe coming through with the like chamber pop-ish isms, the dream pop-ish isms too. It's a strong opening track. The addy 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 sort of vocal refrain that she does towards the end is so cute. It's a really good track, and it does demonstrate what the album is about to offer, but at the same time they do detour a little bit and bring out little moments of uniqueness across the track list to kind of give you a bit of variety. Like, it sticks to a pretty similar sound vocally, particularly sticks to a very similar tone, but there's like these individual aspects of each track that separates it from the previous one. Like the next track coming after this sounds like something you'd hear from like a British indie rock band in the 2000s. It just has more drive to it. The vocals are still really cute though. As I say, the vocals don't really detour that much. But again, there's still a bit of a dreamy sensibility to the track, you know, it's still very soft at the same time while also being a bit rough. But the track after this though, the Mengel y el Amor track, I'm not going to say these names correctly. This is one of my favorite tracks, man. They go into like Spanish Bolero, so like Cuban, Afro-Cuban jazz sort of stuff. And it's so dancey, it's so fun, it's got such a nice lively energy to it, and it's like, yeah man, I'm into it. They do seem to just kind of ditch it though for the rest of the album. I'd have loved to have heard more tracks like this, but again, it just shows the different sides of them and how they're willing to sort of change little bits here and there across the album to give you something different across the whole thing. There is the track Crucifixion, La Solucion as well, which is very playful sounding. And then you've got Ronnie O'Sullivan. Yes, Ronnie O'Sullivan. That has to be a reference to the snooker player. Is he famous in Spain, or is he like, is there something that attaches him to Spain, or do they just really like snooker? I don't know, but whatever. He is name dropped on this album. It's hilarious as well because like every track is like in Spanish, and then there's just Ronnie O'Sullivan. It's like it almost didn't mean to get there. But anyway, this track, man, has this like huge wall of sound in a very like shoegaze-esque way. I mean, there are some like dreamy pop moments across this whole album, so the sort of crossover to shoegaze makes a lot of sense for what this band is clearly going for in their sound and style. But this one just feels so hectic and intense in almost like a Deftones way. Not exactly like a heavy Deftones song, but it almost feels like it's nearly reaching it. Again though, like the Bolero track, they don't do this on any other track, they just dip into this for one song and kind of call it a day. I'm okay with it because the sound is great on both of the tracks. But yeah, it's interesting how they just switch things up. There's even a track towards the end of the album that sounds very reminiscent of something The Cure would do. So you can see how their influences are really coming through on this album to create such a vast sounding album across the board, but also it does sound pretty consistent as well. It all fits and it's all, you know, working well, and it's not just random. I just think it's in the nice little touches to each track that just makes it sound a bit different to the previous one. It's great, and when they're doing it all so well, the vocals are so lovely and soft as well as that. Yeah, I'm all for it. The only track I'd critique the vocals really is Muerta El Placencia, that track. Just feel like the instrumental builds quite dramatically towards the end, and she doesn't really change her vocals to match it. I feel like that one time on this album, she could have just intensified her voice just to make the effect even greater. But it's a minor critique really, because I think for the most part her vocals do match the tracks well. But the final track though, the closing track, is so peaceful. It's such a stunner, this one. And yeah, the rest of the album, like I say, follows a blueprint of dreamy, soft sounds, but also they change it up in the right places just to keep you on your toes, just to keep you interested, and just to bring some diversity to the album too. It's a really great one, and one that I feel has a lot of potential for you guys to love too. If you've never heard it before, please check it out. Would love to see what you guys think. This is a certified undiscovered gem. It is a gem of an album that is yet to be found by the masses, but hopefully you check it out after this video. Please tell me what you think in the comments. Do have a good day. Subscribe if you haven't already as well, and check out my Patreon as I've already mentioned. Goodbye.